I hope you're having an amazing summer. Hi everyone, this is jana.eubank. I am here with a Hip Kit Club scrapbooking process video, and my assignment today is to use the June 2025 kits along with one of the June 2025 dies, and I'm going to be using the Berries and Blossoms die, which is the adorable strawberry die. I can't wait for you to see this. Right now, I am just flipping through all the papers from the kit and deciding which ones will go well with my photo here. Now, I've already matted up my photo using the Cardstock kit. I've used a little bit of the lemon sorbet, which is the yellow color. I've just done a 1/8 inch border of that, and then I've done a 1/4 inch border of the strawberry cream cardstock. I'm going to place this on this robin's egg hexagon paper. I love this pattern. I think it's so cute. And on the other side is a bunch of other hexagons that I'm going to be incorporating into the layout later. I'm just rough cutting this, just eyeballing it, and deciding that I want to add some layers around this photo here. So I'm going to ink this up with some gray distressing ink, and then I'm going to continue picking out some papers. Now, I was really drawn to this orange and pink plaid. I just love it so much, but I wasn't sure what other paper I would combine with it. When I came across this bright blue diamond paper, I'm like, yep, this is the combination I want to do. Now I'm going to continue flipping through the papers to see if I want to cut any little accent strips to go along with this paper, but really I stop here. I decided to just go with these 3 pattern papers, and I will continue on my way. So I'm going to trim off the branding strip here, and then I'll get this adhered down. Now, the photo that I'm scrapbooking today is of me and my daughters. We love the Daiso store. If you're not familiar with Daiso, this is a Japanese dollar store or discount store that you can find on the coast or in Hawaii. And we discovered this store about 10 years ago when we were on a vacation to San Francisco. And ever since then, we always make a point to stop at Daiso anytime we're on a vacation, and they have one in that town. We love all the cute things there. There's so many fun items from home goods and like organizational supplies. There's craft goods, there's, socks and shoes and candy and food, all kinds of fun things. So we just love the store. Now, we live in Utah and we do not have a Daiso. However, this summer they announced that they were adding 3 Daiso stores to our state. And so, of course, when the first one opened, we had to plan a shopping trip to go together. And so this is our first trip to Daiso in Utah, and my daughter took a quick selfie of all of us shopping together, and I just love it. Now, the store's colors are pink and white, which go perfectly with this June 2025 kit. It has so many fun pinks and purples and orange, and I just love, love, love the colors of this kit. Also, because I was going to be using the strawberry dyes, I thought that the pinks would go well with that. So I flipped over that orange and, or actually the hexagon paper, the robin's egg hexagon paper. I talked about earlier how it had these other bold hexagons on the other side, and I'm cutting out a few of these to add on my paper here. And I'm playing off that first little hexagon die cut that I found in the Cardstock die cuts. It has the little watermelon slice, and it says the good stuff, which goes perfectly with our shopping trip because the Daiso has so much good stuff. I love it. So I've placed that on the left side of the photo next to the store logo that is behind us in the photo that says Daiso. I didn't want to cover that up. And now I'm fussy cutting out a few of these hexagons to sprinkle and tuck in between my photo layers. I also want to add these pink and orange butterflies from the Cardstock die cuts. They're so adorable and just go along with my color scheme here. So I'm going to use those hexagons to kind of anchor that and give my butterflies a place to rest. Now I am popping everything up with some thin foam tape. I like to use 1mm foam tape. It's not very thick, but it's just enough to give all of my elements a little bit of dimension. So typically I will adhere all of my square layers, like my paper layers, my photos, those kinds of things, flat to the page, and then everything else I will use a 1mm foam. I use some squares behind the hexagons, and then I use some thin foam strips behind the butterflies and then bent up their wings. Next, I'm going to use the chipboard die cuts from the kit, and I'm going to be using the phrase happy day. Now, the original die cut had an S on the end of the word days. I simply just used a ruler to continue the Y and trim off that S, along the edge of the Y. So I did that. I'm thinking at this point that I will put my title at the top of the page, but because I have these strawberries that I want to tuck in here next to the title, I decided to move it to the bottom. I'm going to take a minute to get these all into place. I have die cut one small strawberry and two large strawberries, and then one small leaf and two large leaves. I love the indents that this puts on the leaves. I also love the little seed holes that are on the strawberries. It is just such a beautifully detailed die, and I love the way that this turned out. Next, I'm going to add a couple of tags tucked behind the top edge of my photo to add my journaling. And then I also went back to those chipboard die cuts and added in 3 clouds. Now it's a little hard to tell from this video, but there's actually some like thermography or resist on patterns on those white chipboard pieces. So if you would like, you can, add paint to those or ink to those and have the resist the ink or mixed media that you add and add a pattern to it. I just love that the way that they look just as they are. The resist pattern, it has a little bit of a shine to it. So you can see there's like some polka dots and some stripes on the clouds. And I think that's a really fun touch. Now, because I have the white in the bottom with the chipboard title and then the white with the chipboard clouds at the top, I wanted to add a third area of white to create a visual triangle around my page. So I decided to tuck in that scallop border piece under the right edge of the orange and pink check paper, and I think that works out well. Next, I'm going to start adding in some more details. I went back to the cardstock die cuts and I found a couple of phrases that I wanted to add to the right edge of my photo. Now, typically I don't add, overlapping die cuts onto my photos in this many places, just because it looks so busy, but it works on this page. So I just decided to tuck them in. The 2 phrases that I chose were the purple one that says sweet memories, and then the white one says may it never end. And that's pretty much how I feel every time I go to Daiso. I love wandering every single aisle, even if I'm not going to buy anything from the kitchenware. I just love to see what they have. They have such fun gadgets. I'm going to go back to this hexagon paper and I'm going to tuck in some more on the left, and then I'm also going to tuck in a few on the right. You can see that I anchored those 2 phrase pieces with one of the circle puffy stickers, which looks super cute, but I wanted to add a little bit more detail to this part of the page, so I decided to add some fussy cut hexagons over here as well. I think that balances out the design and also brings some more color and detail over to the right edge. I really enjoy overlapping and tucking in little details all around my photos. I think it adds a lot of interest and fun and just helps your eye to linger on the layout and take in all of the different details that we've added to the page. Next, I'm going to go back to the puffy stickers and I want to add some details both to those hexagons and to my titles. So I'm going to start looking for some smaller pieces. I believe that's what I do next. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. Yeah, so I'm going to add this little pinwheel to the center of one of the hexagons, and I'm going to add a flower to the other. I love that little pinwheel, but I do end up switching that out for one of the foam buttons at the very end, and I don't believe I caught that on camera. So in the closing shots, just be sure to notice that I did put a foam button on the red hexagon on the left side, or the coral red, I should say. I'm also going to add in some puffy hearts onto these 2 letter P's in my title. I just think that adds some interest and makes that a little more fun to look at. And also kind of reminds me of like having the heart eyes, right? For something. So it looks like 2 little eyeballs on those letter P's. So I definitely have heart eyes for Daiso. I'm also going to add this layered accent sticker that's also a heart shape that says Sweet Life next to the word day. And then I'll bring back in the puffy stickers and add like a little cherry piece or next to that just to repeat. Now there's also some hearts on my tags, so I am repeating this heart shape all around the page, and so I decided to put some hearts up here on the clouds as well. Now initially I had put 3 hearts. I really love those hearts and I decided, you know what, I'm going to save some of those for another project. So I decided to peel one off and just sprinkle in some of the small little enamel dot type shades, but they're actually like puffies, right? Next to those hearts, and I think that works well. And then here's where I add that cherry next to the sweet day. Now, I also super love these foam buttons. They are so fun, so colorful, and I love all the different shapes. I decided to add this purple one to the center of the leaves on my strawberry die cut. So I'll take a minute to thread that and tie that in a bow. And then again, I will replace that pinwheel on the left, that pinwheel puffy sticker, with another foam button, just because I wanted to repeat that in another area on the page. And that will complete my layout. So here's a few detail shots. Again, my name is Jana.eubank for Hip Kit Club. This is the June 2025 collection called Pocket Full of Sunshine. I hope you enjoyed this process video today. We'll see you next time.